I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Hello collectors and welcome to the Discount Action Figure Dude. I am your host Christopher and we are still here at the Fortress of Chaos surrounded by Angry Superman. Previously we have done Angry Superman McFarlane Injustice 2. We have also done Angry Superman Beast Kingdom, Justice League Superman, because as we have established, Superman is a fragile emotional wreck who is just one tragedy away, one simple tragedy away, one dead girlfriend away from killing us all. But what would it be if we had our fortress all set up if we didn't take a quick look at least one nice bootleg? This is the SHF Injustice Superman. A bootleg, as you can tell. You know it's a bootleg. How do you know it's a bootleg? Other than the dull colors and the box. It doesn't have the logo. You gotta have the hologram logo. Otherwise, it's not a real figure. For an import, at least. Here goes another really dull picture of the figure on the back. And some more movable molding option parts. Superman on the back there, and back to the front of the box. But let's say we cut this bitch open. We will say that this guy might be a bootleg, but he does come packaged really nice. And he even comes with instructions, just like any other SHF would. But let's say we continue taking him out of the box, see what we got here. And here goes bootleg SHF Superman out of the box, looking, I don't know, his neck is looking kind of stumpy, and he also comes with his cape, which is separate. I may have to read these instructions to figure out how to put this on. Plus he has his accessories, which include 2 extra heads and a pair of hands. But let's say we take a closer look at SHF Injustice Bootleg Superman. So let's take a closer look at Superman over here. This is an old figure, even by bootleg standards. I think this figure, and this is what's going to happen. This figure came out in, I believe, 2015 originally. So it's pushing up on 10 years old. Oh, gosh. And mind you, I am going to blame this less on the figure, his cape coming apart. I'm going to blame this less on being a bootleg, though it's certainly not helping, because I have an SHF Doctor Strange legitimate, which has the same type of cape, and it has the same issues. It's a 3-part cape, just like this one, and it has the same issues in staying on, and this was a Bandai thing they did back in the day, which I believe they have since abandoned. And let's see if we can get this thing to stay. If not, we will just leave it out. Superman without his cape. I mean, I think that's not normal, because if we remember Rapper's Delight, they even mentioned it, like Superman without his cape. We went ahead and put on one of his angry faces. But overall, I think this looks pretty good. Superman, let's see how he holds up to some bootleg scrutiny. His paint seems to be pretty good. I don't see any paint coming off on the gloves. he seems to have some pretty good movement there. He has pretty good movement in his single jointed elbows. His head moves pretty good. Mind you, we got this guy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and leave that cape off for now. Because that's a pain in the ass. We got this guy. He was cheap. He was pretty inexpensive. He cost like $10 from AliExpress. And yeah, it looks like he should have double jointed knees. But I don't see them doing double jointed things, even though this looks double jointed to you, right? Right? But well, he has a pair of drop hips, which allow him a certain range of movement here, front and back. It's not great looking, and what just fell off now? His shoulder pad fell off, but again, it didn't break off, it fell off. It's one thing to have something break off. It's another thing to have it fall off. It shouldn't fall off at all, but if it falls off, we can put it back on. And if it breaks off, then, you know, that's something else altogether. Does this one come off too? Yeah, this one comes off too. That one I pulled off. So give the bootleg a, if we wanted to take a closer look at Superman without all of his bothersome armor, as you can see, he looks pretty good. And surprisingly, he does not have, he has a little wiggle, but not as much wiggle as I would expect. He's got some nice shine in his boots. He's got some nice shine on his Super Raise S. If you look at his, this is a guy who clearly has been doing his bench presses. I don't know if you're supposed to see all the way through his chest. But again, we're going to blame that more on SHF, more on Bandai, than we're going to blame it on the bootleg. And here goes SHF Bandai Bootleg Injustice Superman next to his much larger, one probably could say better looking brothers in McFarlane Injustice 2 Superman and Mattel Die-Cast Metal Injustice 2 Superman. I assume this is Injustice 1 Superman. I've played, well, let's not say I played the games. I own the games. I've tried to play the games. I suck at fighting games, and therefore I suck at that game. In typical SHF fashion, he is much smaller than the other action figures that he's surrounded. But you know, he looks okay. We put on his third head, his heat vision head for him. And we're not going to do too much movement just to keep his shoulder pads and cape from flying off. But I think as far as a bootleg action figure go, and one that was really inexpensive, I believe this cost less than $10, quite honestly. I might have mentioned it before, but I was a little amazed at how phenomenally cheap it was. I mean, just because, you know, you don't want to pay too much for a bootleg, but every once in a while you get a bootleg that's really inexpensive and, you know, not terrible. And again, like I said before, I think a lot of his problems stem from the originality of the manufacturer, less than him being an actual bootleg. His paint is clean. Yes, his shoulder pads keep popping off. And yes, his cape keeps falling off. But like I said, I don't have this figure, but I do have a Doctor Strange figure, and he doesn't have shoulder pads, but his cape, his 3-part cape, keeps falling off. But as far as bootlegs go, and like I said, we don't give a value to a bootleg figure. But as bootlegs go, if you have a use for a really old Injustice Superman, for some reason that's really small, you can't go too wrong with this one. It's not the worst bootleg that I have ever seen. Maybe his neck could be longer. I don't know. His neck is kind of stubby.